On this episode of Translogic, we get moving in some pretty non-traditional ways. A water-powered hoverboard hits the waves and the air, a pair of rocket skates glide through the streets, and every kid's dream is now a reality. Welcome to Translogic, I'm Jonathon Buckley. On this show we like to focus on forward-thinking modes of transportation. Now sometimes these can be on the water, sometimes they can be kind of unique, and sometimes they can be a whole lot of fun. And in today's case, well, they're all three. So we're down here in beautiful Coronado and I'm with the CEO and the founder of Aquatic Aviation, Paul Bolker, mate. Well, obviously the flyboard was the first one that came out. Yeah. We tested it a couple of years ago. The flyboard is something from Iron Man. Now you got the hoverboard from Back to the Future. I mean, people love this stuff. How does the hoverboard differ from the flyboard?
The flyboard is more of a vertical product, so it's about going high, performing aerial tricks, spins, backflips, flying, I guess you could say. The hoverboard, it's more like a wakeboard with a jet on it or a snowboard, but the main steering is in your front foot, so it's a little something to get used to.
All right, well, anyone can buy one of these, but you do need your own personal watercraft, like a jet ski or a Sea-Doo.
Yeah, that is correct. And now it's becoming more known that it's actually not that difficult to install. And it hooks to any Yamaha, Sea-Doo, Kawasaki, or Honda models 10 years or younger. I mean, you take off the braking system, and you take off the jet flow nozzle, you put on an adapter plate, and then the U-pipe actually redirects the water to the hose, which comes out the bottom of your feet.
All right, well, all this talk about flyboarding and hoverboarding has got me pretty excited. Let's go have a go.
So I'm gonna teach you a little bit about how to hoverboard. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is when you get in the water, you want to put your back foot in the strap. Yep. Okay, and you kind of want to lay on it. Okay, and then I'm gonna give you some throttle. So when you start going, you want to push down that nose. Yep. Okay, and then you want to bring your right foot up and you want to put it in that front strap. And then once you feel that the board's a little bit out of the water and it's getting on the plane, then you can just stand up on the board.
It's as simple as that. You're up. So it's almost like surfing in a way, like you're just sort of popping up and then you're going to get up.
Exactly,
okay.
Yeah.
But when I get up, what's the principle then? Because is it more like snowboarding or is it all more like surfing? Where do you put your weights?
I think it's more like snowboarding. You know, when you're going forward and you lean on your toes and you want to use your left foot, remember, to steer, and then that will pull you around. But when you're on your heels, it's how you do a back turn.
So lean whichever way you want to go, essentially.
Right, exactly.
Okay. What happens, because you've got a jet right behind you, if you lean right back like that?
If you lean back too far on your back and shift your weight too far back, then you're going to go back. The board's going to go straight up in the air and you're going to just fall off the board.
Just fall off the board.
Yeah.
And how long do you think it'll take me to figure out how to do a backflip or a twizzle?
Couple tries.
Oh, come on. Couple tries. Well, that was my first, I guess, 20 minutes that I've been out there. I got up on my second try, which I'm a bit proud of. I haven't landed any of my tricks yet, but I gave it a shot. I've got to say, though, this is super easy to pick up quick. I reckon very short period of time, you could become pretty impressive regardless of your skill level. Well, the Sea-Doo that we're using today looks incredibly fast. When you're transferring all that power from that Sea-Doo through to a board underneath your feet, is it too much power or is it just enough?
Well, no, the power is based on the throttle. You know, the guy on the jet ski controls the throttle and controls how much propulsion goes to the board. board. If you install the electronic management kit, which is a separate accessory, then the person on the board can actually control the throttle. The hoverboard is designed to go around 23 miles per hour.
And how high up?
You can go probably about 20, 25 feet. And that's professionals, you know, that's someone that's been doing it. I mean, when you start out, you don't go that high.
When it comes to setup costs, it's not exactly cheap when you think you've got to take into account that not only do you need the flyboard and the hose and the adapter kit, a sea-doo, a trailer and a car that's going to get you to the water's edge. How much is that likely to run you for the full setup?
All skis cost different, so for the whole setup, it just depends on the type of ski and power you want. But the actual flyboard kits and hoverboard kits, they're about $5,800. You can actually get both of them for under 10 grand.
As the sole distributor here in Southern California, have you had many customers lining up?
Yes, and we can't keep them in stock. I mean, the demand for them is really increasing, and it's awesome to see.
Well, I mean, assuming the vast majority of people are probably going to want to rent it out for a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon. Is that a possibility as well?
Yeah, we also have our rental and flight center. Rentals run you about $149 for a half an hour experience. They go up to $199 for a 40-minute experience.
What happens when it comes to where you can use these things? Does it vary by jurisdiction? Are there rules?
It's actually coming along really well. It's not banned anywhere. It's actually a lot safer, and we like to say, you know, hey, you have jet ski rentals, that's one of the most dangerous things on the water.
Yeah.
And this is a lot safer, you know, and that's kind of how we do our pitch when we're looking at new locations and expansion and trying to get approval from the local authorities. But every place does change jurisdictions. Lakes are different than, you know, harbors, and, you know, harbors are different than rivers. Well, that has been an incredible day in San Diego with the brand new hoverboard. We've spent a little bit of time on it, not as much as I'd like, but I've got to say, if you're into this kind of thing, then you must try and find a way to ride it. It's one of the easiest things that you'll pick up. I got it up on the second time. It's just what you imagine a hoverboard would be. When you get airborne, you're still under control, and I think that's the amazing part of it.
A little later, the future arrives. But first, Acton rocket skates.
And the trick is to keep one foot in front of the other. Ah, no, no. Just like that.
Autoblog, the ultimate automotive resource. From the latest vehicle reviews, shopping advice, and ownership tips, to helpful apps, community forums, and photo sharing. Autoblog, where you can research, shop, and share everything on wheels.
Believe it or not, since the 1800s, people have been strapping wheels to their feet in various forms and iterations. But up until now, most of those forms have been man-powered. Well, that's why we're here today to check out all-electric battery-powered skates. Battery-powered rocket skates, that is. Peter Treadway is the co-founder and chief technical officer of Acton, which is a company that specialises in personal transportation. And obviously, we're here today because of the rocket skates. Was it Inspector Gadget or was it Wile E. Coyote that inspired it?
I don't know, you know, I've got each of them sitting on my shoulder, you know, just telling me what to do.
You're a startup here in Los Angeles and you funded this project through Kickstarter and you reached your goal in August this year?
Yes, we reached our actual goal within 24 hours and then multiplied that 11 times over the course of the campaign. So we went from asking for 50,000 to receiving 550,000.
So let's get technical because they're called rocket skates, but
That's
technically we don't have to actually set anything on fire, do we?
Not out of the package, no, but you know, I suppose people could.
If they wanted to add their own rockets to it. But it's a battery-powered
That's
device.
right. Lithium-ion batteries, and there are motors in each of the wheels.
Now, are these independently operated, so they run on their own?
They are. We have little computers in each skate that control each wheel individually and tell them what to do.
Obviously, when you're strapping something to your foot, weight is a consideration. How did you arrive at the power source that you've used in the rocket skate?
Lithium-ion batteries are actually getting lighter and lighter as we go forward. We want to keep them at exactly the right size to give the skates the power that they need and to give the user the range that they need.
Yeah.
And It's a delicate balance, and it took a long time to get to the configuration that we have right now.
How far are we going to get? So on a charge, we've got 3 levels. We've got the red, the silver, and the black. So red gets us, what, 6 miles?
6 miles under ideal conditions. Then R8 would be 8 miles. R10, 10 miles.
Okay, so you've strapped them to your feet, you're getting ready to go. What's the principle? Because they don't look like roller skates, they don't look like roller blades. They've got these 2 big wheels either side. How do you get going?
Well, you have one foot that controls the other foot. So there's a lead skate and a following skate. Most people will wear the lead skate on their right foot because we accelerate a car with your right foot. So you tilt your foot forward and both skates will go as they're both talking to each other. When you tilt back, they slow down and ultimately break. The great thing about these is that if you do stumble at all, you can kind of, you know, maybe inelegantly, you know, walk your way out of it.
I've got a very bad feeling, though, that I'm going to end up with a little bit less skin than I started this day with. So let's see. Oh, oh, whoa. If they want to go, I'm going. And the trick is to keep one foot in front of the other. No. Just like that. Okay, so after my somewhat questionable debut on the rocket skates, I figured there was something not quite right. So we've switched up the control foot. The control foot is the one that you tilt forwards and backwards to propel you forward on the rocket skates. And that seems to have made a little bit of a difference. I'm obviously not going super fast still, but I haven't fallen over yet. I've been up for quite some time and it's a little bit easier to control and it's actually starting to become enjoyable. I like that you get to wear your own shoes in these too. It makes it a little bit more comfortable. You know how sometimes like rollerblades, they used to strap you in, you get all sweaty, it would give you like weird kind of blisters in places you didn't think you could get them before. But these ones, because you're wearing your own shoes, they're super comfortable and having your toes exposed mean that when you need to, you can just kind of run along like this if you need to. So it's actually kind of cool. I did notice that you have an app that can control the skates in various ways. Yes. The first thing I thought of was, oh, how I would love to hack my buddy's skates.
You can't control the movement of the skates while you're skating. What you're controlling is whether you're in beginner mode or pro mode or normal mode or what have you.
What are the differences between the modes?
Well, beginner mode, as it sounds, is a mode that helps people get familiar with the skates. It delivers a very smooth power band. Normal mode, you're getting a nice smooth uptake, but your top speed is the normal top speed, which is 12 miles an hour.
Which is kind of speedy.
It's really fast.
Yeah.
You're not likely to spend much time at that speed except in bursts.
Oh, it's a beautiful day for skating. This takes me back to my glory days in the 90s when I was rollerblading.
Everything kind of has its day. I used to rollerblade a lot back in the 90s and everything like that. It's a lot of fun, and at some point you do something different, something else comes along. So I don't know whether these really have any parallel with that or not. The configuration's different, the intention's different. We'll just see how people deal with it.
Do you feel like now that you're going with the power-based option, are we getting a little bit lazy?
We may or may not be, but actually, if you try them out, you'll find that there's an element of exercise to using the skates.
Yep.
You have to keep your balance, you have to stay up, you gotta weave in and out of what's around you and everything like that. You just happen to have quite a bit more range. And really, we're not trying to make people stop walking. We would rather that they stop driving, and this is another option for them to kind of get around. So, in theory, we're saving gas and, you know, all the things that come along with that.
Well, it might appear that my ambition outweighs my talent when it comes to rocket skates, but that being said, while these things aren't designed for hitting the half pipe or pulling 1080s, they're certainly a creative, fun, and new way to get around. Up next, something truly magnetic. The Hendo Hoverboard.
Yeah, there you go. That was awesome.
For the past 25 years, we've been promised hoverboards thanks in no small part to a big budget sequel that took us back to the future again. Well, the future is now, and hoverboards are finally here. Well, I'm feeling very fortunate to be sitting next to the founder of ArxPax and the creator of the Hendo hoverboard. When your video came out, people realised this isn't a hoax, this thing actually exists. The internet blew up.
We picked the hoverboard as the way to convey this technology and what's possible, to be able to handle a dynamic payload, to be able to hover in a stationary position or move around.
Electromagnetic repulsion isn't exactly new, but you guys have harnessed it, it seems, in a different way and made it accessible.
If we could sum it up in a single word, it's about efficiency.
Yep.
Although there are other ways to hover things, or there was no good way to do that for a stationary object, particularly with this a passive surface.
We have a copper surface right now. Talking to some of the engineers around here, there are other options as well that you guys are exploring.
Exactly.
We're talking like even you could put potentially like a little bit of dirt over it and grow grass over the top.
And this is the kind of thing that gives me goosebumps.
Okay.
Imagine greenways versus highways.
I'm here with Kyle O'Neill, one of the engineers here at ArxPax. Now, when you guys were funding the hoverboard, you had a very successful Kickstarter campaign, and for a certain donation, you could receive one of these guys. It's called the White Box?
Yes, it's our developer kit we had on Kickstarter. It's the generic embodiment of our hover technology. Yeah.
So the technology inside this very plain-looking white box is the same kind of technology that you have in the hoverboard?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's the same thing. You know, we can go smaller, we can go bigger, we can hold different payloads, different hover heights.
All right, so take me through the basic technology of what's going on inside here.
We have the 4 hover engines inside that create the primary magnetic field, and when passing over this non-ferromagnetic conductive surface, so this is just copper plated in vinyl, it's inducing an eddy current, which is then creating an opposing magnetic field, and that gives us the hovering.
All right, can we switch it on? Does it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, so it kind of makes a little bit of noise.
A little bit of noise.
It almost sounds like there's a fan inside spinning.
Yeah, so no fans. I mean, you can kind of look at the bottom, and there are no fans underneath. We just have our hover engines that are creating the magnetic field.
I can just see YouTube videos now with everybody's pets. Well, I've got to say, I'm feeling pretty privileged to be standing on what I guess is the first iteration. I mean, you guys have been working on it for a while and you've done various incarnations of it, but this is the first real...
This is the first real kind of working and stable one. This is the one you know everyone's seen online, and it's kind of been known as the Hendo hoverboard, but it's still the beginning of kind of where we're going.
When it comes to battery life, is that a concern with the hoverboard? Is it something that drains batteries?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So right now this is using 16.4S, so 64 LiPo cells. Yep. By comparison, like a Tesla car uses around 7,000. We still have a long way to go in terms of efficiency, but right now this hoverboard gives you about 7 minutes with a person on it. Yep. Again, so weight is going to be a factor in total battery life, but around 7 minutes.
All right, well, let's fire it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
That was fun. When it comes to the hoverboard that we have right now, that I've actually had a chance to ride.
Did quite well.
Thoroughly.
I understand he actually did a shove it. Well done.
Yeah, there you go.
I was thoroughly impressed. The amount of control that I had was surprising. Just how intuitive it was when I got on there. It wasn't that hard at all. What people might not realise is there are a lot of other applications for this technology. It could be used in all kinds of environments.
There is transportation, entertainment and recreation, including extreme sports, industrial automation. There is seismic isolation.
I'm assuming that's kind of like a damping system for a building during an earthquake?
Even better.
Yeah.
An earthquake happens. We have 20 seconds to work with. In the first few seconds, the hover engines start, the landing gear retracts, the ground shakes, the shaking stops, the landing gear drops, and no one in that room experienced any shaking at all.
Anything at all?
Yeah, absolute seismic isolation.
Isolation.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so my hoverboard arrives in the mail. Where do I go and ride it? Is there a plan for skate parks in the works?
Absolutely. Imagine, if you will, a conventional skateboard park that's been retrofitted to allow for hover technology. It's still skateboardable, right?
Yeah.
So having a dual-use park makes a lot of sense.
And is it purely copper overlaid over the park surface?
There are other systems that we're working on. Aluminum works very well too.
Right.
Not quite as efficient though.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you can see that need improvement? Some people have talked about that makes a bit of noise.
The production hoverboard that we will deliver will be more efficient than the current one.
Yep.
In all likelihood, it will be lighter, it will be smaller, it will be quieter and more powerful.
Our first 10, now 11 buyers purchased their boards, I think it was around the $10,000 mark for the initial run of boards.
Yes.
How over time do we reduce those costs?
As we optimize, as we make the systems more efficient, they're coming down in price.
You must get it brought up all the time, but Back to the Future must have been, was that the big inspiration behind you or just one of?
When we first figured out we could hover something, that came to mind. We can build a hoverboard. Marty McFly, Back to the Future 2, that was 1989, helped shape how we thought about things.
Yeah.
And where we are now.
Wow.
So how'd it feel?
That's incredible. I can't believe you guys have managed to do this already. Like, to be 2015 and we actually have a hoverboard that works.
It's real.
There's a couple of things, I guess, when I went into this today, I thought, you know, it's going to be way too slippery and I'm probably just going to fall straight off the back and I'm going to have zero control. But it's actually not the case. It actually works really, really well. And when you lean, you can get it to turn.
Sure, yeah.
Certain
Just
ways.
a little bit. Yep.
Man, well,
we have a long way to go.
2015 is going to be a big, big year for you.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, can't wait to see what's in store for the hoverboard. For Translogic, I'm Jonathon Buckley. We'll catch you next time.